Hey, welcome back to Reddit Cheating Wife, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to the channel for cheating stories like this.
My beloved wife cheated on me and my daughter isn't mine. How can I move forward as well as shake angry feelings? My wife and I have been married for 21 years at the time of writing. My assumption was that it was one of those miracle marriages since we never argued. I seemed to be the best of friends with her and so on. Our 15-year-old daughter received a 23andMe item as a birthday gift from a friend. We weren't connected, according to the information provided. She had me do a swab as well as her mother and her 14-year-old brother. She and I were the only ones who looked to be connected, except from her brother. So I went ahead and had a paternity test done, and lo and behold, she was not my daughter. My ex-wife cried and pleaded for me to pay attention to her, but I had become indifferent to her pleadings and pleas. It's one thing to lie, but learning that the source of my life's illumination was not even slightly related to me was devastating. Don't get me wrong, I love my kid to the extreme. It doesn't matter what, she is still my daughter. My allegedly malicious impulses, on the other hand, are what I'm most afraid of. I've never been like this before, and I know it's because I'm upset, but I really don't want her to suffer any longer than she has to. The kids loathe her to the very core of their being. However, I am aware that she is still their mother, and I do not want them to resent her in the process. Her mother, father, and siblings are all mortified by her behavior. Her sister hasn't been in touch with her in a few months. We all grew up together, so it hit hard for everyone. Again, this makes me feel incredible, which makes me apprehensive since I don't want her life to be in shambles. But I can't help but smile when I realize that something in her life is about to come crashing down around her. Both of my children are now living with me since they do not have a positive opinion of their mother at this time, because they are now refusing to speak with her. I am considering having the chat with them about this matter. That my daughter seems to be overcompensating for her daughterly obligations is the component of this situation that breaks my heart the worst. She expresses her affection for me on a consistent basis and is in many ways the perfect daughter. But I can tell she's doing it because she knows she's not biologically my mother, but she has to express to me how much she loves me as soon as possible. I'm going to talk to her about it as soon as I get home tonight, advising her that she is under no obligation to alter her behavior. I just want to know how to get rid of the feelings of despair and rage and vengeance that I'm experiencing, so that my children do not have to worry about school and adolescence. I want to continue to aid them in their future endeavors. Story 2. Wondering what goes on in the cheater's head. I actually do know. Many betrayed people spend an unhealthy amount of time attempting to find out why cheaters act the way they do. How could they possibly have cheated on you? Why did they choose you? Do they have any regrets? The fact is that we'll never comprehend since we're not cheats. However, as part of my investigation, I acquired access to my unfaithful ex-private husband's diary and emails. As a result, I got an uncensored insight into how cheaters think. While it may not apply to everyone, I hope this helps you find some closure. The causes are illogical and emotional. The cheater compiled a list of comparisons between me and the AP. In short, he loves me for all I do for him, and he loves her for everything he saw in me when I was still fresh and shining. As a result, cheaters prefer an illusory ideal over actual reality. New automobile vs. used car, they have no idea they are the problem. The cheater produced a list of things he'll do differently with the AP, many of which are cosmetic relationship enhancements such as spending more time together. It never occurred to them that the fact that they have been proven cheaters is a massive red flag. Instead, they are duped into believing that the remedy is more effort with a new individual. No, it never dawned to them that the same remedies may have saved their marriage, since only the new automobile deserved the flashy sports rims. The affair fog exists. It's meaningless to remind them of what they said, their pledges and vows, your joint intentions, and so on. Cheaters have already replaced you in their minds, easily rewriting their shared past and future. They've also persuaded themselves that the AP is the one, their soulmate, genuine love, destiny, and other such nonsense in order to convince themselves that they didn't make hundreds of intentional choices to have an affair. They had no idea how this new automobile materialized out of nowhere in the garage. It had to be destiny. Your happiness was never important. They are just concerned with obtaining what they want. They may feel horrible for hurting you, but they have no shame or regret for cheating on you. After all, how can anything be bad if it feels so right? The truth is that they chose their personal pleasure and selfish interests above the AP. They are aware of your feelings, yet they are unconcerned. Cowards or cheaters not only do they believe they have no control over the affair, but they also wish their spouse died or disappeared so they may be with the AP guilt-free. They'd rather keep eating cake than try to mend something they've broken themselves. And no, they feel no remorse for deceiving and manipulating you. It's worse than you believe. They just kissed app once, according to the cheater. Is it just a one-night stand? Is it only an emotional affair? Have you just been doing this for a few months? I'm sorry, but no matter what they told you, the truth is much worse. They will gradually reveal the truth to you. Never trust anything a cheater says. Just trust what they offer you in the divorce settlement. All of the above are reasons why I believe the adage, once a cheater, always a cheater is true. What's preventing them from upgrading to the next new automobile if they never believed cheating was a mistake or that they were ever in the wrong? The aim justifies the means. Story 3. Husband has been sleeping with a teenager. My husband, 32 male, and I, 33 female, have been having relations with a 15-year-old girl for the last year and a half. Every time I left my house was a new experience. She claims to have done it more than 20 times in the last year alone. We've been in a relationship for 15 years. As a result of his own family difficulties, he moved in with my family when he was 16 years old. His half-cousin is one of my closest friends, 37 female. Her daughter is 15 years old and lives with her mother. He's been acquainted with her since she was a child. As a child, he supported her in learning to walk and saw her develop into an adult. On both sides of the family, they are second cousins. I'm disgusted, startled, enraged, devastated, and guilty for not protecting her in the first place. For the last 2 years, she had been staying with me after her father had and physically attacked her. Due to other circumstances, her mother was not allowed to have her because of her stepmother's attempt to kill her. The trauma she's experienced, as well as her many other challenges, are extensive. She was treated as if she were a daughter by me. The only difference between us was that I addressed her as my niece, while she addressed me as stepfather and him as uncle. I was confident in my ability to place my trust in my partner. I really believed it. This is against the law in the area where I live, Canada. The year in which consent is granted is 16. It's been going on since I was 14 years old. When I learned this, I immediately contacted the authorities and reported him. He will be sent to jail. Police had not yet spoken with him, but they are putting up a case against him. My niece is adamant about not speaking with the police, despite the fact that she was the one who informed me of the situation. After I smacked him in the face, he admitted that I had done so. My niece and him both claim to be over heels in love. The fact that they have turned to one another, since they both grew up in broken families. But she isn't an adult yet, she is only 15 years old. The termination of my interaction with her was necessary for my own sake. She moved to a group home for the time being. I'm having a terrible day. It seemed as if I had abandoned my son or daughter. I know it isn't her fault, and I still care for her, but I need some time to myself. She claims that they had stopped talking to one another. We also have a son who is 8 years old. As a matter of fact, my niece referred to him as her younger brother in this manner. He is just aware of the fact that we are separating and that my father is relocating. That his relative was forced to migrate owing to a shortage of available space. For the last 8 years, I've been a stay-at-home dad. I have very little formal education. Financial support is not available. Since having my kid at the age of 25, I have had very little work experience, and my last position was that of a cashier. He said that he would cover the rent and other bills till the end of February. That is, until anything changes. I'm now working on securing support for the time following that. It is a set of steps. I'm quite worried about the well-being of my child. What am I going to do if he is sentenced to prison? I'm concerned about the mental health of my niece. It's been 26 days since the last update. We've decided to divide our time with our child. I'm at a loss on what to do. Any advice for my very odd case would be much appreciated. Additional edit, just so people are aware of how tough it is for me to come to terms with this. I was 4 years old when my sister, who was 6 at the time, was murdered by a pedophile. As a consequence, I'm having a terrible time dealing with this situation. I still can't believe I got married to someone who molests children.